Good morning. While I'm happy that I'm not bringing you news about Israel or Ukraine or Lord knows any other million things that they have to try to keep us spun up, I've got some technology news for you. I just wish it was good news. So, man, we used to have things in this country called like antitrust laws and stuff like that would protect consumers from monopolizing companies, corporations. Well, you see it. Microsoft bans quote unquote unauthorized third party Xbox controllers and accessories. Insane. And mind you, this is after somebody's already bought this equipment, okay? Says Microsoft is putting its foot down when it comes to unauthorized controller use. The company has begun banning any third party Xbox controllers and accessories that aren't part of the quote unquote designed for Xbox hardware partner program. A gamer posted the news to Vistera after plugging an Xbox compatible controller and receiving a notification about the ban. The error code is explained in detail on Microsoft's support blog. From the moment you connect an unauthorized accessory and receive error code 0x82D60002, you'll have 2 weeks to use that accessory, after which time it will then be blocked from use with the console. Microsoft's advice: get in touch with the company you bought the controller from and return it. A bit savage, but very clear. Microsoft's motivation for the crackdown could stem in part from a desire to block cheat devices like Cronus Zen. Fellow gaming companies have been working hard to ban their use during gameplay. However, Microsoft's decision could also stem from probable increase in sales of their own controllers and accessories. Okay, so let's talk about this whole game hacking. Game hacking is just like any kind of other hacking out there in the world. It doesn't matter what you do. Somebody out there is going to find a way to counter it. That's the name of the game. Plain and simple. That's the name of the game. And in fact, it won't be very long. It could already be out there. Some little hack that people can do with their Xboxes so that it no longer kicks out the quote unquote unauthorized controllers. If it's not out there yet, it's only a matter of time. This is nothing but an obvious monopoly. And if it goes unchecked, yikes. I mean, this is insane. Now that means the people that go out and spend a fortune on controllers and whatnot aren't even going to be able to use them. And Flight Sim, that's a big deal. And yes, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is on Xbox. And apparently there's only one brand, and this is just from reading comments, so there's only one brand of flight stick systems that is designed, or whatever that says, right? Um, that is designed for Xbox, and that's Thrustmaster. And there's nothing wrong with Thrustmaster. They make quality products. It's not what I use. I use Logitech. It used to be SciTech, but they used to make the devices. Both my rudder pedals and my X52 are Logitechs. Um, my previous flight stick before I got the Logitech was a Thrustmaster. I can't complain with it. But I will complain that if that's the only flight stick, you know what I'm saying? That Thrustmaster is being allowed by X, that is nonsense to me. And the one I have is both for PC and Xbox. It's got a little switch on it that you can click or switch over. Thrustmaster HOTUS 1, for anybody that's wondering. I got that gifted to me, and used it from since the sim came out until I did the testing, and then sold the beta test equipment that was absolute junk, and put the money to actual good use, which was flight sim stuff. I don't spend money on myself very often, so that was kind of a big splurge for me, to be quite honest. So, but it's not that I don't use it. It's not that I don't enjoy it. And it's really the only thing I spend time leisurely doing. So, but I'm on a computer and it don't give a damn which controller I plug in. It'll work. And if that day ever changes, guess what? There will be hacks out immediately to fix it. But it's a little bit harder to do on these consoles. I call them junk boxes for good reason. It's a little harder to do on the junk boxes because you're very limited in your capability with them. So um, it's insane. And then every time they come out with an update, chances are you have to reapply your hacks and all that stuff. It just, I don't do junk boxes. And no offense to those that do junk boxes. And no, I'm not going to stop calling them junk boxes. Why? Well, maybe you guys shouldn't have came out so hardcore against the PC crowd, because the PC crowd was trying to tell you all along there's a reason why they belong to the PC crowd and not the game box crowd. Um, and if you take that step, you will see why. Hey man, there have been crying and crying, and I'm not a gamer. I'm far from gamer. But I did enjoy Battlefield 2 and some of the subsequent releases from Battlefield. I liked Battlefield; it was enjoyable. The other one, COD, that's like laser tag. That's the dumbest, goofiest, stupidest crap I've ever seen. But Battlefield employs real world physics like bullet drop and windage and all kinds of good stuff like that. So that's why I liked it a little bit better. It's a little more realistic, right? Um, but I'm not a gamer, and I could never be one. Sorry, I just can't waste copious amounts of my time really in reality achieving nothing at all except for bragging rights or my own pats on my back or something. Again, no offense against gamers, but just understand that just like sitting there with a TV remote in your hand watching TV show after TV show, you're not doing anything. Take that for what you will. There's a whole lot of life to experience out there. There's a whole lot of stuff to learn out there. And there are so many people with either a game controller in their hand or a TV remote in their hand, and they're good with that. I don't know. I'm different. I'm weird. I know. But the Father created us in his image, and that wasn't meant for us to be lazy and spend as much time doing nothing and thinking about nothing as possible. That's a slap in his face. No, we should utilize the blessings that he had given us, and most certainly we should use that to lift him up, but we should also use it to lift ourselves up and lift each other up. And how can you do that? Knowledge. Knowledge. The world wouldn't be facing near the woes that it is if it had more knowledge, right? Part of the reason for all the woes economically is because you've got so many people taking advantage of other people. Well, that's kind of a problem, and it's kind of a well-deserved problem if you're too lazy to strive yourself to be able to do whatever it is you're paying to have done. That's kind of on you. But in the bigger picture, because of all of that and the greed associated with it, um, our world is in a lot of financial turmoil. And nobody's going to let up. In fact, everybody's digging their claws in a little bit more, even everywhere. they're digging their claws in a little bit more. And it's, I think it's about to be a dog eat dog world in many businesses. I mean, it has been for some time, but not like you're going to see it. Not like you're going to see it. It is going to be, for businesses, dog eat dog. Because the money's drying up. So is the debt's not drying up, but the amount of debt people can spend is drying up. We need these anti-monopoly and antitrust laws, and we need the banking laws, and we need all these laws put back in place that Reagan and several of the presidents since him have removed that allowed this country to go down the toilet. Because make no mistake, it was Reagan that drafted NAFTA. It was not Clinton. Clinton didn't make that, just like Obama didn't make the deal with the cell phones. That was Bush Jr. Funny how that works, ain't it? They do it to you all the time. One president will be in, they'll implement stuff, and then another president will take over afterwards when that stuff that was implemented by the previous president comes into effect, and then that president gets blamed for it when it was the previous president's work, right? The Obama phone, quote unquote Obama phone, that was Bush's baby. That was not Obama's baby. Obama had nothing to do with that. But whatever. We don't have to be educated to have a big mouth, I guess, in the United States. So, doesn't mean you're right, but unfortunately, a lot of people are foolish enough to listen to the loudest voice because they're foolish themselves. I don't know what to say. I am unapologetic, man. People really need to start reflecting on themselves. I didn't like what I saw, right? So I fixed it. Nobody else is above doing the same themselves. So don't expect me to be apologetic about self-improvement because, come on now. Anyway, I know this wound up a rant and a far cry away from what's going on with Microsoft and controllers, but nonetheless, it gets old. It gets real old. Anyway, this is not good news. And I hope we don't see other companies following suit. And hopefully, maybe we can get some legislation in or legislation returned back into law and put an end to this stuff because this is ridiculous. How many times does Microsoft have to be sued for doing monopolistic endeavors? Sheesh. Anyway, at least it's not Israel and Ukraine and oh my God, the shortage videos from the prepper channels are coming. Oh God, they've already started and they're off the charts. So just remember, folks, and I'll leave with this. Just remember for the past 3 years, you've heard the prepper channels tell you about shortage after shortage after shortage after shortage that never happened. Just remember that as they continue with their grifting bullshit again. Shalom.